I'm E.G. Marshall, curator of this cryptic museum dedicated to the mysterious and the macabre. Concealment seems to be the order of the day. We use fabrics, paints, chemicals, and hair to obscure the body, and we employ customs and law to hide the soul. Life, for so many of us, is a series of rituals and ceremonies, all of which are directed toward curbing our natures. Small wonder so few of us ever get to understand our fellow man. So few of us ever get to know ourselves. Our mystery drama, The Public Avenger, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Arnold Stang and Marion Haley. It is sponsored in part by your nearby Goodyear Auto Service Center and Buick Motor Division. I'll be back shortly with Act One. Full many a gem of purest ray serene, the dark unfathomed caves of ocean bare. Full many a flower was born to blush unseen and waste its fragrance on the desert air. Few poets ever wrote truer sentiments. How many of us know such gems and flowers? Indeed, so many of us ourselves can be classed as hidden diamonds and wasted blossoms. Well, to business. Our scene is a warehouse. Specifically, a warehouse that stores groceries. But don't get too hung up on the product. It really has nothing to do with the story.
Miss Ellenbogen.
Yes, sir?
Get Short in here. Oh, I'm going to fire that clown. Maybe I'm not a camel, but this is the last straw. My back is rusted. I don't care if he's worked here 50 years.
You sent for me, Mr. Fenris?
Stewart, you're fired.
Fired?
Get your money and get out of here.
But why, Mr. Fenris?
Why? Because you're stupid, muddle-headed, and useless. You've got no ability, initiative, ambition.
Yes, sir, but what did I do?
What did you do? You cost me the biggest account I got in the house. That's all you did. Atlantic Stores. Their order has to be out of here by the 15th. I'm walking through the warehouse just before, and there it is. Still piled up against the wall.
Oh.
Yeah, oh. All it takes is one idiot like you, and I can lose 25% of my annual volume.
But, Mr. Fenris...
I don't want to hear any more.
Yeah, but, sir, Atlantic Stores doesn't want that order sent out until the 20th.
You've got to be lean and not have 1 ounce of excess baggage. And Atlantic Stores doesn't want the order sent out till the 20th. What do you mean they don't want the order?
We called up and they said...
Why wasn't I told?
Well, I left the message on your desk.
Well, what kind of communications have we got around here? Where on my desk?
There it is, sir. There.
Where?
Right on the right-hand side.
The right-hand side?
Yes, sir. Mr. Fenris.
Well, no wonder. You've been working here 15 years, and you don't know by now that you have to put messages on the left-hand side.
Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Fenris.
Oh, on account of your stupidity, I almost had a heart attack.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Fenris.
Well, I'm going to give you one more chance.
Yes, sir.
One more chance, well, that's it.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Fenris.
Yes, drop the ball one more time, and you are through.
Oh, yes, sir.
Now, get out of here.
Yes, sir.
And see if you can keep out of trouble for the rest of the day.
Mr. Haskins?
Yes, Miss Ellenbogen.
May I ask you a personal question?
Well, yes, I suppose so.
Why do you allow him to bruise your psyche like that?
Bruise my psyche? Well, I'm afraid I don't understand.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that an expression you learned at college?
How do you know? I'm going to college.
Well, I see those books on your desk.
Oh, yes. I'm just attending at night.
Well, I've never gone myself. I wish I had.
Well, it's never too late, you know. I'm studying psychology.
Oh, I understand. That's quite a deep thing.
Well, the psyche is, well, in religion, it would be the soul.
Oh.
In psychology or psychiatry, it is in the mind, but considered as an organic system reaching all parts of the body to adjust the whole organism to the total demands of the environment.
Oh, yes. That's very interesting. What was that question you asked me?
Oh, well, on second thought, perhaps it's most presumptuous. I'm sure it's something quite private.
Why do I allow Mr. Fenris to bruise my psyche?
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel bruised.
You don't?
No, although maybe if I knew where my psyche was. Miss Ellenbogen.
Yes, Mr. Haskins.
Do you go to night school every night?
Oh, no, not every night.
Yeah, well, I was wondering if,
Yes, Mr. Haskins.
No. Oh, my goodness. I have to get that... I have to get that special order out to South Coast Market. Yeah, I'm late.
Yes, Mr. Haskins. Good evening, Professor Temple.
Yes?
I'm Rose Ellenbogen.
So, Miss Rose Ellenbogen, and you are here for...
A conference, Professor Temple.
So, conference.
We were to discuss my term paper.
So?
Yes, well, I was thinking of doing a study of a certain person. Yes, he works in the place where I'm employed.
Oh.
And he displays an abnormal behavior pattern. Male, white, 32 years old. Been employed in years. His name is Stuart Haskins.
And
he is the daily recipient of the most vicious mental abuse imaginable.
From whom?
From our employer, a Mr. Ferdinand Fenris.
Why?
Well, I can understand Mr. Fenris's attitude. Oh, yes, indeed. I can understand it very well.
Can you?
Mr. Fenris is completely incompetent, and Mr. Fenris knows it. It's Mr. Haskins who actually runs the business. Now, this angers and frustrates Mr. Fenris so completely that in an attempt to salvage his manhood, he must attack Mr. Haskins constantly. Now, how does Mr. Haskins manage to maintain his sanity?
We bring you a late bulletin. The mysterious public avenger has struck again.
The public avenger?
Gangster Chief Punch Gumbo was gunned down as he was taking tea in the garden of his country estate. According to Mr. Gumbo's bodyguard, the killer appeared suddenly and as he fired bullet after bullet into Mr. Gumbo, he shouted, "The public avenger struck again." The killer was seeing about 5 feet now. The bodyguard returned the fire. But the assassin made good his escape. And now we return to Symphony Hall.
Oh, I wonder who he is, Professor Temple.
Simple.
You mean you know?
Oh, yes.
Who he is? Who is he?
Mr. Stuart Haskins.
Professor, you're joking.
The last time I made a joke, it was with Professor Freud in Vienna in 19...
Professor, it's impossible. You...
Art people suffer from amnesia because they need amnesia.
Are you saying that Mr. Haskins...
Psychogenic amnesia. We forget because we wish to forget. No, what was that joke I told Dr. Freud?
Stuart Haskins, the public avenger. It's incredible. Oh, he couldn't be my Stuart Haskins. He couldn't.
Good morning, Miss Ellenbogen. Would you please put this letter on Mr. Fenris's desk for me?
Certainly. Although I think he's looking for you.
Oh?
Yeah, he said if you came in from the warehouse, you're to go into his office.
Oh, well, I really would rather not.
Do you suppose you might not mention that I was around here?
I won't.
Stuart!
Oh, gosh.
You come right in here, Stuart.
Yes, sir. Oh, excuse me, Miss Ellenbogen. You wanted to see me, Mr. Fenris?
Where's that invoice from Pleasant Valley Markets? Or did you lose it?
Oh, no, I put it in your in basket, sir. I thought that way it wouldn't get mislaid on either side of your desk.
Oh, yeah. Well, Stuart.
Huh?
Where's your jacket?
My jacket.
I don't care how you look down in the warehouse, but up here we wear jackets. Now, how dare you come upstairs without a jacket? I have customers, clients,
yes, sir.
important people coming in and out. I can't afford to have my employees running around looking like a bunch of bums.
Oh, yes, sir, but you...
And you knew the rules.
Yes, sir.
And you broke the rules.
But, Mr. Fenris, let me explain. I had to get my jacket cleaned.
You had to get your jacket cleaned?
Yes, sir.
In other words, you're having your jacket cleaned on company time.
Yeah, well, sir,
Don't let it happen again.
Oh, no, sir, I won't.
I don't know why I'm so good to you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm getting soft.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Are you still standing there? Now, don't you have work to do?
Oh, yes, sir.
Oh, was it very bad this morning?
Was what very bad?
Well, the way he spoke to you.
Oh, that. Well, he doesn't mean anything by it.
He doesn't?
No, and besides, he doesn't know any better.
Oh, tell me, did you read the news this morning?
No, I never read the news or listen to it.
You don't?
No, not if I can help it. I find it too upsetting.
Oh, you mean things that happen to other people upset you?
Oh, yes, terribly.
Have you heard of the public avenger?
No, I don't believe I have. Who is the public avenger?
Well, nobody knows.
Oh.
He seems to be a kind of one-man vigilante committee. He kills well-known hoodlums who seem to have eluded the legal process.
Well, I can't say I approve.
You don't?
Oh, no. Violence of any kind. Just...
Oh, could you imagine yourself as the public avenger?
Me? Oh, never. I'm frightened to death of guns. Me, the public avenger. Whatever could have given you that idea? You certainly have a sense of humor.
But,
if there's one thing I admire in a girl, in a young lady, it's a sense of humor.
Oh, so you never could.
I was wondering, Miss, do you suppose?
Yes?
I was wondering if you... Oh, my goodness. Oh, I haven't packed the order for the bunny stores. I just have to get back to the warehouse.
Yes, may I help you?
I'm supposed to leave this jacket for Mr. Stuart Haskins at the reception desk.
All right.
And would you tell him it won't pay to fix the hole under the right arm? It will cost him a fortune to reweave it.
Oh, that small hole?
Yeah, that small hole.
Why?
Why? I'll tell you why. Because it's a bullet hole.
A what?
You heard me. It's a bullet hole.
You heard him, too. How could a bullet hole get into Mr. Stuart Haskins' jacket? Don't ask me. I won't tell you. Actually, I may have already told you. They say still waters run deep. But in Stuart Haskins, we may be trying to navigate still water that has no bottom. I promise you things will flow fast and furiously when I return in just a few moments with Act 2.
Come see, there's good news round the corner. Goodyear, wherever you are.
Shake the winter wearies from your car with a gas-saving Goodyear tune-up. Just $36.88 includes installing new plugs, points and condenser, time engine, and adjust carburetor for a 6-cylinder car. Add $2 if it's air-conditioned. Now at Goodyear for just $36.88. $4 more for most 8-cylinder cars.
Goodyear tires and Goodyear service. We're Goodyear to your car.
Now, this message from your New York, New Jersey Pontiac dealer.
See how wonderful life can feel. Feeling your own person behind the wheel. You understand, you want performance, you're looking for a star. If they haven't got to a Pontiac dealer, you haven't shown.
When we say it pays is to shop a Pontiac dealer, here's an example of what we mean. If you order a Pontiac Astra or the classy little Sunbird between now and April 30th, you get your choice of either a 5-speed manual transmission or an automatic transmission at no extra charge. Absolutely free. So if you haven't talked to a Pontiac dealer, you haven't shopped for a car.
If you haven't talked to a Pontiac dealer, you haven't shopped for a car.
Gimbel's Great April Sale is Gimbel's biggest store-wide sale of the season. Right now, find big savings in Gimbel's Budget Store. Women's spring coats are just $19.99, save $25. Irregular floral print sheets in twin size are 2 for $4.99. Men's famous name dress slacks are just $6.99 a pair. All in Gimbel's Budget Store. All at Gimbel's Great April Sale. Don't miss Gimbel's biggest store-wide sale of the season. Right now, you can buy better at Gimbel's because Gimbel's is getting better every day. It's now, and it's big. It's Allen Carpet's greatest spring broadloom sale ever. Imagine $1,300,000 worth of luxury carpets incredibly reduced to just $588 to $1488 a square yard, including padding and installation. Save on elegant carpets from famous Mohawk mills. Rich, deep pile carpets in almost any color and texture you could want, and at low, low money-saving prices. Look for the beautiful Mohawks at Allen Carpet's greatest spring sale ever right now.
3 months after I was married, I, Aviva Gendin, was forced to leave the Soviet Union. It is now 4 years since I last saw my husband. Only you can bring us back together. Please join the march on May 2nd.
Give 3 million Soviet Jews the courage to continue. March on Solidarity Day, Sunday, May 2nd at 12 noon, beginning at 71st Street and 5th Avenue. Every one of them needs every one of you. Please, join the march on Sunday, May 2nd. Uses it. Look.
This paper.
Is it?
Yes, but you... What about you just...
We live in a time when no speculation can be too extravagant. Because the fact is, everything is possible. Practically all of the once considered far-out fantasies of Jules Verne have not only come to pass, but most of them have already been passed by. So when Professor Franz Joseph Teppel and his student, Miss Rose Ellenbogen, speculate that Mr. Milquetoast himself, Stuart Haskins, can actually be a one-man vigilante committee known as the Public Avenger, who is to say them nay?
Yeah, lady, that's a bullet hole.
A bullet hole.
You see the material all around the hole? That's burned. Those are powder burns.
Powder.
Yeah, gunpowder, lady. Like you get close to the muzzle of a gun that's going off. The flash, like you see in the movies, that flame that spouts out of the barrel, that burns. So all the material's ruined.
But how could Mr. Haskins get a bullet hole through his jacket?
Don't ask me.
Oh, the man came with my jacket. Well, I'm so glad. Oh, thank you, Miss Ellenbogen.
The man said to tell you that they couldn't fix the hole.
The hole.
The bullet hole. Because all the material around it burned.
Oh, yes, I see.
May I ask you how you got a bullet hole in your jacket?
Oh, my goodness, I don't have the faintest idea.
You don't?
Oh, no.
But how is that possible? I mean, certainly you should remember a thing like a bullet, I would think.
I can't even imagine.
Well, think. I mean, could you have been near any place where they were shooting, for example?
No, I've never been near any place where they were shooting.
Never?
No, well, I was in the military service.
Or did you fire a gun in the service?
Oh, well, yes, but I prefer not to think about that.
Well, about this bullet hole, how can we account for it?
Well, I'm afraid there's only one explanation.
What's that?
It's not a bullet hole.
It isn't? But the man said.
Yes, I know.
And it does look burned.
Well, you see, they may have been pressing it, and somebody carelessly burned this hole. And to cover up, they made up this little story about it.
You insist, then, that this here is not a bullet hole?
Well, I don't know of any way I could have received it in my coat.
Well, what do you intend to do about it?
To do about it? Well, nothing, I suppose. It's really a very old jacket, and I'm about ready to discard it anyhow. So why create a tempest in a teapot, as it were.
Oh, you're positive that cannot be a bullet hole?
No way at all. Oh, Miss Ellen Bogan, are you going to school this evening?
No.
Oh, I was thinking that...
Yes?
Oh, my goodness. I haven't packed the Chippy Chipmunk canned peaches. Excuse me.
Ach so, a hole created by a bullet.
Well, but now that I think about it, he may have been right. It could have been carelessness on the part of the cleaners.
No. It was a bullet.
It's impossible now that I think of it. He's so meek. I said confront them.
Confrontation.
And I looked at his face. The very thought seemed to make him ill.
That's that joke I told Dr. Freud.
Professor, we are discussing Stuart Haskins.
Oh, yeah. Well, what is there to discuss? Stuart Haskins is the public avenger.
How can you make such a statement?
I explained to you.
I know. And I've gone through the literature on disorders of orientation.
Well, then, if you have gone through the literature, where is the problem?
One look at Stuart Haskins would be enough to convince you that he couldn't possibly...
You do not want him to be the avenger.
And now our half-hour news bulletin. Joseph Folsom, known as Joe the Jabber, reputed kingpin of the drug traffic, has been released by the authorities. The federal prosecutor in New York City says he cannot proceed because of lack of evidence. Ironically, Joe the Jabber himself is somewhat less than happy with the decision. He is quoted as saying, "If you feds want to put me back on the street, you've got to protect me from this crazy avenger." More news later.
The public avenger shall strike tonight.
Tonight?
Mr. Haskins shall shoot Mr. Joe the Jabber.
But Joe the Jabber is in New York. That's 1,000 miles from here.
This is Friday night.
Yes?
There is work at the warehouse tomorrow.
No.
And so, Mr. Haskins has 2 days to accomplish his mission, no? And return Monday.
Oh, the public avenger is tough, resourceful.
Oh, yes.
And Stuart is so timid and ineffectual.
Then why are you in love with him?
Because Who says I'm in love with him?
You are in love with him because you believe he is the public avenger. His hidden masculinity...
Oh, no, he can't be. If only you could see him.
Very well. I shall see him.
Oh.
When shall he take you out again?
Take me out?
Yes, this is the name for the rites of courtship in America, no? To take the loved one out?
Well, he doesn't take me out.
Oh, then where does the wooing occur?
There isn't any. That's what I mean. He doesn't even have the courage to ask me for a date.
Since he will not ask you, then you must ask him.
Ask him? Ask him what?
Ask him to dinner.
To dinner?
We must assume he eats.
Oh, well, I just can't. I mean...
Why not?
What can I tell him?
Oh, say you are with a friend and we have a fine dinner here that we would like to share.
Call him just like that?
One lifts the telephone, dials the number, and science performs the rest.
Well, all right. I mean, once you meet Stuart, you will admit he couldn't possibly be the public avenger.
Ah, that's interesting.
What is interesting, Professor Teffer?
How does it happen you know his number?
But I don't know his number.
Then how does it happen you can dial it without consulting the directory?
Oh, I don't know.
Have you wished to do this before? Have you subconsciously found out the information?
Oh, I don't know.
So, can you also be an amnesiac? Have you another existence where you telephone Mr. Stuart Haskins?
Oh, that's impossible.
Then how do you know his number?
Professor, there's no answer.
Of course not.
What do you mean, of course not?
How can there be an answer? Mr. Stuart Haskins has already left for New York.
Oh, no.
Where he will kill Mr. Joe the Jabber.
We must stop stop him?
Yes, we must.
We should call the New York police.
And tell them...
No. We can't tell anybody anything. All we'll do is get him killed. Oh, but there must be a way.
There is.
How?
We must make him fight for something, for someone. And therefore, he will not be driven to amnesia for fulfillment.
Oh, but how does that help us now? This gangster, this drug traffic kingpin, he's expecting Stewart. He'll surround himself with bodyguards. Stewart will be killed.
Mm-hmm.
Professor, you're not listening.
What? Oh, Miss Ellenbogen, what did you say?
I said this gangster will be expecting Stewart.
No. You said something else. You said I was not listening. Oh, now I remember the joke.
Oh.
You know, we psychoanalysts, we spend all our time in listening.
See, Professor?
And Professor Freud said to me, Doctor, you see so many patients here, so many problems, day and night. You listen to such terrible troubles.
Oh, Professor.
How do you keep from going off the deep end? And I said, who listens? I must say, Dr. Freud did not think it was funny either.
Oh, what are we going to do about Stewart, Professor? I'm so worried.
Now you see why I do not tell jokes. Once bitten, twice shy.
But you got me into this.
I got you into...
But if it weren't for you, I'd have never known Stewart was a public avenger. Oh, please. Please, Professor. Maybe there's a chance he isn't.
My dear Miss Ellenbogen, I have never been wrong. He is. You gonna lean on that bell all night, lady?
Well, mister,
Just call me pal.
Okay, pal, I've been trying to get into Mr. Haskins' apartment, but it doesn't look as if he's home.
No, it don't.
Are you the superintendent?
When I get a raise. Meantime, I'm the janitor.
Uh-huh. Do you know where he is?
No. He's a guy who never goes nowhere.
Nowhere?
Comes home, cooks himself his supper, listens to music, maybe he'll read, then he hits the sack.
Uh-huh. He's always home.
Yeah. Except lately.
Yes, lately.
I mean, the past month, maybe. He goes someplace.
Where?
I don't know. But he'd get in his car, he'd drive away. He'd be out most of the night. Like, this is Saturday, huh? Okay, last night I see him get in the car, he drove off, and he ain't been back since.
Has he, did he seem to be acting in a peculiar way, pal?
He always acts in a more or less peculiar way. I mean, I know quiet guys, but him, hey, look, if you're gonna marry this guy, you better be prepared to do all the talking.
He's been gone all this time, and we don't know where?
Well, when he gets back, when you ask him.
Time for your late Sunday evening wrap-up. Well, the big news, as you might expect, was the latest killing by the public avenger.
Oh, no.
All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't save Joseph, Joe the Jabber, Folsom from the vengeance of the public avenger. Even though Joe the Jabber was heavily guarded, the killer managed to evade the protective cordon, fire his fatal shots, and make good his escape. In just a few moments, we shall have more details for you.
Just a minute. Now, who could... Professor Temple.
May I enter?
Well, yes. You heard the news?
Yes, and that is why I am here.
Oh, do you know something?
Something that should make you happy. I want you to know that your Stuart Haskins is not the public avenger.
That's a happy announcement for Rose Ellenbogen. But how does Professor Teppel know? Is he the public avenger? Well, somebody's the public avenger. Somebody's depopulating the underworld. Who? On this show, you never know. The third act, which is where the piper must be paid, will be brought to you in just a very few moments.
Moving on with the Allied spirit, going to a brand new town. You're leaving the past miles behind you. With Allied van lines, you're homeward bound. Hello, tomorrow, I'm on my way. I know you're gonna bring a brighter day. I've got the Allied spirit, and it feels like I'm going home.
Allied Van Lines knows what's going on in your head and your heart when you move. Because we move more families every year than anybody else. We'll move you with a kind of pride that says just good enough isn't good enough. The kind of understanding that says we've been there before. That's how we've become the world's #1 mover. We call it the Allied Spirit. Let it move you.
Hello, tomorrow, I'm on my way. I know you're gonna bring a brighter day. I've got the Allied spirit, and it feels like I'm going home.
You are cordially invited to attend the circus wedding of the century. The wedding of Mishu, the world's smallest man, as Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, the greatest show on earth, celebrates 200 years of circus in America. The most lavish circus spectacular ever staged. See for the first time in 3 decades, 10 trained, enormous, ferocious performing polar bears. Witness thrilling aerial exploits high above the arena. Roar with laughter at the world's funniest clowns. More acts, more animals, more tigers, more elephants, more thrills than ever before. See the phantom of balance on the death-defying whirling wheel. Come and experience the thrill of a lifetime as Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus in a totally new show celebrates 200 years of circus in America. You've got to see it to believe it.
See it all at Madison Square Garden, now through May 31st. For ticket information, call 564-4400 or Ticketron.
In a country where romance is a national passion, so is Madame Rochas. This is not coincidence, because there has never been a more romantic fragrance or a more beautiful interpretation of what it means to be a woman. Perfume, eau de cologne, parfum de toilette by Madame Rochas, the most loved French woman in the world. Madame Rochas, like romance itself, it is a beautiful gift to give a woman.
You take a timid soul, subject him to harassment and abuse. You thus drive him to daydreams and fantasy. He sees himself as a knight-errant, a hero, a righter of wrongs. With most people, it remains at that level, fantasy. But there are those who seek to make their dreams reality. They forget this world and try to live their ideal in another. Of course, they don't remember doing it. This physical attempt is a form of amnesia, which is what we've been talking about all along.
You say Stewart is not the public avenger?
He is not. And can you ever forgive me?
Forgive you? For what?
For making you think so.
Well, after all, you thought so yourself.
Not I. I never thought so.
Well, you were the one who made such a logical diagnosis.
I know, but you see, it was my poor sense of humor.
I don't understand what...
Every 40 years I try to make a joke, and it's simply not funny.
This was a joke?
An example of how a hypothesis can lead one astray.
But according to the textbook, dissociative behavior, people like Stewart would seek an outlet. I mean, they are logical candidates for psychogenic amnesia.
Yeah, but you see, to become a public avenger requires more than the wish. One must have the body, the fire, the elan, the ability.
And this was a joke.
Yes. To see how easily one may be taken in by words and theories.
You mean Stuart isn't the public avenger?
There is no way under the sun, moon, and stars that your Stuart Haskins could possibly be. It is my last bad joke. Certainly I cannot live another 40 years. You forgive me?
Oh, forgive you. Professor, I love you.
Good morning, Miss Ellen Bogan.
Good morning, Mr. Haskins.
Yeah, is Mr. Fenris in yet?
No.
Oh, that's good. I'm late. Well, I better get downstairs.
Mr. Haskins. Do you have a cigarette?
Do I have a cigarette? Oh, sure. Yeah, here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'll keep them.
Oh, I couldn't.
No, go ahead. I decided to give up smoking.
Oh, since when?
Since just now.
Oh.
Well, I have to be getting back to...
do you know, I just happened to be in your neighborhood Saturday night.
Oh, you were?
Yes, I was visiting some friends just down the block, and on my way home I said, well, why don't I just stop and say hello to Mr. Haskins?
Yeah, well, why didn't you?
I did.
You did?
Yes. I rang your bell.
Oh, but you couldn't have rung my bell.
But I did.
You didn't, because if you did, I would have heard you.
How could you have heard me? You weren't home.
Oh, yes, I was. I was home all weekend. Where would I have gone?
But I did ring your bell.
Are you sure you had the right address, 217 Lauren, apartment 5?
Oh, yes, and the superintendent came out, and he said, pal, his name was, you've gotten into your car Friday night and driven off someplace.
I was home, Miss Ellen Bogan. Miss Ellen Bogan, is something wrong?
What did you say?
Well, all of a sudden, it's as if you, as if something hit you. You're not sick, are you?
Look, if Mr. Fenris comes in and asks for me, tell him I wasn't feeling well.
Is there anything I can do for you?
Just tell Mr. Fenris I'll be back in a while. I was there at his house Saturday night. He was gone.
So?
He claims he was home all weekend.
But he may have been asleep.
But the janitor says he saw him leave in his car.
The janitor may not have seen him come back.
But you and I telephoned the house Friday. I rang the bell Saturday. We know he wasn't there, yet he has no memory of being away. Now, isn't that a classic amnesiac symptom?
Very well, perhaps he has amnesia.
Well, that's what I'm telling you, Professor. It may have started as a joke on your part.
A feeble joke.
But it happens to be true.
But suppose it is true. We have no proof that he is a public avenger. Not every amnesiac...
But we have proof. He was in New York.
We have what?
Proof.
What proof?
Here, this package of cigarettes. He gave them to me, see? They come from New York.
Oh, no. You can purchase those cigarettes anywhere.
Well, of course you can.
But then why do you say he bought them in New York?
Because of this stamp. This New York City sales tax stamp. Now, doesn't that prove...
Somebody may have given him the cigarettes.
First, we have the bullet hole.
It might have been a careless cleaner.
Second, he was not home all weekend.
This cannot be proved.
Third, the New York stamp on the cigarette package.
Not conclusive.
And now the news on the hour. Reliable information has it that the organized underworld has collected a fabulous war chest to protect itself against the public avenger. No expense will be spared in a mammoth operation to find the killer. The law enforcement authorities have announced a full-scale drive to apprehend the public avenger. And so it appears that both the government and the gangsters may very well be united in an effort to fight a common foe.
A
foe
another word.
Interesting alliance.
Oh, what am I going to do, Professor?
We still have no absolute proof.
Well, if he keeps on, they'll kill him. One side or the other will kill him.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
But how can I make him stop?
How? Why does he have amnesia?
Because his boss persecutes him.
Ach so. This must be put a stop to.
But how?
Let us apply psychology to the problem.
We have special orders to send to, ask Stuart.
Yes, Mr. Fenris. Will that be all, sir?
Yes, that's all.
Oh, I dropped my book.
Oh, that's a pretty heavy book, Miss Ellenbogen. Doesn't your arm get tired carrying it?
Oh, no, sir. It's a psychology book. You see, it's really fascinating.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, most employers today are great students of psychology.
Huh? Why?
Well, most people in their human relationships use the direct head-on approach.
So what's wrong with that?
Well, now, a person like Mr. Haskins.
Yes, Stuart.
Now, he is really a very intelligent, sensitive human being.
He is?
Oh, yes.
Well, that's news to me.
Well, Stuart, could respond so much more effectively to kindness.
Oh, you're wrong.
What do you mean?
All this psychology stuff now. It's bunk.
Now, how can you say that?
Psychology. You know how to manage people?
Well, yes, through understanding, kindness, through sympathy.
Through fear.
Fear.
Fear. Naked fear.
Oh, Mr. Fenris.
Fear. That makes a man tremble for his job. Shows him who's boss. Makes him toe the mark. Keep in line.
But, Mr. Fenris.
You've got to be as tough as nails. You've got to be a hard-nosed, two-fisted, iron-jawed...
Oh, Mr. Fenris, what fantasy are you lost in?
As I was saying, I don't want love.
But you should.
I want fear.
No,
Fear. That's what gets the work done. Why, all those Greeks and Romans, when they wanted to get their ships to move, how did they do it? With psychology? With a whip. Yeah, which reminds me. Get Stuart up here.
It was awful. Awful. Oh, poor Stuart. I felt so badly. What am I going to do?
Well, you have tried psychology. Now you must try something else.
Well, what else is there?
You must approach the problem as a woman.
A woman? Well, I am a woman.
Then you must begin to behave like one.
But I've been behaving like a woman.
Nephew, like a desirable, seductive, enticing woman?
Well, I'm not sure I know how.
Then you must learn.
Oh.
We interrupt to bring you a news bulletin.
Oh, no, not again.
Ebenezer Twitchell, the mass murderer and leader of the macabre devil worshipper sect known as the Moonblood, has been released from prison on a technicality and is now free.
No, I don't want to hear any more. Stuart is going to try. Oh, how can we stop him?
Yeah, I told you. You must learn to be a seductive, enticing...
Oh, I don't have time. Stuart will go there tonight. And this person is surrounded by an army of human fiends.
That is difficult. Well, we have tried psychology. We have attempted to use the law.
And with no success.
We are left with one remaining approach.
That.
Sex.
Sex? But how can I?
My dear Miss Ellenbogen, forget psychology. Do what comes naturally.
Miss Ellenbogen?
Yes, sir.
Get Stuart up here. What does he think he's pulled this time? Oh, boy. Am I going to put the fear of heaven into him?
I'll get him on the intercom.
Shipping room, Haskins speaking.
Mr. Haskins, Mr. Fenris wants you.
Oh, well, I'll be right there.
Sex. Well, here goes. Mr. Fenris?
Yes?
Mr. Fenris?
Well, what is it?
Don't you touch me!
What?
Don't you dare touch me!
What are you talking about? Who's...
Please, don't!
But I'm not doing anything.
Take your hands off me! Oh!
Stop screaming.
Hey,
Stop that.
You saved me! He attacked me!
What? She's crazy. I never did anything.
Lying.
Now, you get out of here. You're crazy.
Oh, you're going to let him yell at me,
Why
Stuart?
yell at you? You said...
I thought you loved me.
I do.
Well, after what he tried to do to me, do something.
Why would I want to do anything to a homely bag like you?
Well, what do you want me to do?
What do you really want to do?
Well, I really want to... Well, I want to do this. Oh, and this.
That's enough, Stuart. Stuart, that's enough.
You called me Stuart.
You're fired.
You can't fire me. I quit.
Oh, you quit? You can't quit. I mean, well, how am I going to run the business?
You never ran this business. I did.
You can always get another job, Stuart.
I don't need a new job. I need a new title.
That's right, Stuart. A new title.
General manager. And more money.
Yes, sir, Stuart. That's only fair. Now let's go to lunch and we can talk about it.
I want to go to lunch with you. I'm taking my fiancée, Rose. I'll be ready to pick you up in 10 minutes. Oh, and if you had another date, break it.
Oh, yes, Stuart.
Do you have school tonight?
Oh, no, Stuart, no.
Good. We can get married.
Fenris Foods. Mrs. Haskins.
Those ready?
No, I'm just getting in the practice.
I only called to see if you learned what to do.
Oh, Professor, I didn't have to learn how to do anything. I knew all the time.
And so they were married. For reasons no one has yet discovered, the public avenger has disappeared from view. He has been unheard of since. So we can't say that Rose's gain has been society's loss. No, we can't say that. No vigilantism, no matter how well-intentioned, is ever a gain for society. But I shall have a gain for you when I return in just a few moments. Our cast included Arnold Stang, Marion Haley, Robert Dryden, and Leon Janney. The entire production was under the direction of Himan Brown. Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Allied Van Lines. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.